Let me see now. All channels, right? Live. Perfect. We're live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, and soon here live on Instagram as well, hopefully. And there we go. We're live on Instagram as well. So we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I will be inviting guests into the studio here as well today, but I will be doing it through LinkedIn and also through YouTube. So please get on LinkedIn or YouTube and check that out, because I'll invite people into the actual StreamYard studio, not into the this TikTok studio here. So TikTok is just for viewing. Sorry about that. Good morning. Welcome to a US election special where we are going through a debrief or a celebration or a lamentation, depending on where you are on your political scale, on what is happening right now in the US and in the world, of course, because as we are seeing now, the Republican Party has won the vote. I don't think that I hardly think that the Democrats will manage to connect, which means that we will have Mr. Donald Trump as president yet once again. Well, not much you can say about that. They won the election fair and square, and can't really say a lot about that. So that's the way it is. So I'm just waiting for people to come on board here to see if you want to talk about this. Is there anybody who wants to join me? Let me know. That has to go away. So sorry, I had a bit of a double stream there. Let's see. I'm waiting for anybody to come online. Anybody wanting to join the? Say somebody wants to join here on TikTok. We can do. Who is this? Who is Angelica? I don't know. Do I know Angelica? I don't know Angelica. I don't know. Anyway, talking about the US election, I am live on main channel is LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you want to join the show, I'll actually suggest you go to either LinkedIn or YouTube. Innovation Fika on both channels. Innovation Fika on YouTube or Innovation Fika on LinkedIn, and then you can join the chat and also join the show from there, because I'll be posting the actual links to this broadcast in those channels. We're talking about the election now. Donald Trump has officially, I've seen, been called out as the winner. Quite a clear win for Donald Trump in the US with the Republican Party, which is quite interesting. I don't think, well, I'm not going to say anything about that. I've been saying that he is going to win for a long time. But people have been either living in denial, or they haven't wanted to believe it, or they just haven't believed it. I've said it from the start, mostly not because that I in any way endorse Mr. Trump or vote for him, or in any way think that he is a better a better guy, but I'll just say that he managed better. He managed to do it better. I mean, I work with startups, and I know it's kind of a weird analogy, but I always say to people that work in business that you can't. You can have opinions about what your competitors are selling and what they're doing, of course, but you can't trash talk competitors who are selling better than you are, because obviously they are offering something better than you are, better as in something that other people want to buy. And in this case, yeah, sure, they offered something that people wanted to buy. They've managed to they've changed the narrative. Well, they've shaped the narrative to suit them, and they've managed to get people to believe that the economy in the US is really, really bad, and they're the only ones that can fix it. And they've also managed to convince people that that is mostly, of course, due to all of the terrible immigrants. So as long as we get rid of all the immigrants and do some magic things with the economy, everything will be great. And people bought into that, obviously, because I mean they've voted with their feet. They've gone to the ballots, they've placed their votes, and that's the way it is. So that's just the way it is. I was saying, if anybody wants to come online and comment this, just pop a comment in the comments, and I will invite you to join the. I'll invite you to join the show here on LinkedIn and on YouTube, which is my main channels. I'm also doing listen in here on TikTok through my cell phone, but I'm mainly live on, as I said, on LinkedIn and YouTube. Anyway, anything to say about the elections? What else to say? Well, I'm not going to do any kind of historical retrospect thing, but I remember back in 2016, I was in the US 2015-16, and I was probably the only one saying to people that Trump was going to win the election. Nobody seemed to believe it, because they didn't think that this, in their words, this clown could win the election. But of course, by laughing at him, they made him the underdog, and they made everybody else who felt like they were underdogs vote for him. So it was a very, both cleverly orchestrated, but also it was actually the Democrats gave the election away in 2016 to Donald Trump, and nobody saw that one coming. I won't say I did, but I saw that they were treating the. I saw that the Democrats were treating the Republicans, or it was Hillary back then, was treating Trump with the same way that we were treating our right-wing parties here in Sweden back in 2014, when they managed to really claw their way into government. We were laughing at them, and we were ridiculing them. Nobody was actually speaking to them and actually talking about the actual issues at hand, which of course made everybody who wasn't happy with the normal establishment want to vote for them. So they won. That's the way it works. And the same thing happened in 2016. And then there was like a swing back in 2020. And then now, of course, we've had this whole rigmarole debacle thing with Biden and Trump. And of course, it's always easy to point fingers and say, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. But I will argue that it's, let's see. Here's a comment from, you can't see this on TikTok, sorry about that, from Roy. Hey, Donny, good morning. Do you think he connects with his audience better by being genuine? Oh, genuine. Right. Interesting question. Maybe genuine isn't the right word, but maybe like being himself and being natural is the right word. He comes out and I'm trying to be sort of unbiased here. He comes out on stage and he acts as, a guy. He acts as the millionaire TV star apprentice guy. And he's like, down with the crowd, and he can, he talks to people. And I think that definitely resonates with his audience, as opposed to the others that I think that a lot of people in the US, because the US is like two main countries, right? Is you have the coasts, the West Coast and the East Coast, and then you have the rest of the US in the middle, kind of. And I'm generalizing terribly here, I know that. But I think that very, very many people don't like the feel, that feel of the elitist and we know better kind of attitude that they feel that the opposing parties, that like in this case the Democrats, have. And I think that's what lost them the vote, and I think that's also what won him the vote. Actually, I think so, because I think definitely. So yes, I do, Rohit. I do think that he connects with his audience better by being, the guy. And it's so clear that he's very, very good at standing in front of an audience and talking to them, and just, this weave thing. When he talks about anything that comes to his mind, he always goes off script. People love it. And the more he does that, the more they love him, because it's kind of his, their way of giving the establishment the middle finger is, look at what our candidate can do. He doesn't really care about anything. And so that works for him. And the thing is, and he can, in his rhetorics, he's very outspoken and beauteous, and he can make things up, and he can call people names, and it works. But the thing is, when the other side tries to do that, they just come across as like, old people that are trying to be down with the kids. It just becomes really like cringe, embarrassing. It never really works. Which is really, really interesting, because he makes it work. And the question then is, what would they have to do to make it work? I mean, what would they have to do to actually make it work with the others? If anybody's just coming online now, you're watching Innovation Fika live with me, Donny, every Wednesday nowadays, 9 a.m. In the mornings, on Wednesday mornings, new time. I've been doing it previously. I've been doing it in the afternoons. Live on my main channels are LinkedIn and YouTube, but today also live on Instagram and TikTok here through my phone, taking comments mainly, and also inviting people to the studio. If you want to join, come in on YouTube or LinkedIn. I'll send you the link to the studio. We can jump in. You can come online and we can do a chat as well, talking about the election, where it's now clear that Mr. Donald Trump has won again and is now president for the second time. And let's see if he makes true to his promise that this is the last election ever to be held. If he's going to go the same way as his counterparts in Russia and in China, where they have managed to set themselves up for life, right? I mean, that's what they've done over there. That's what all of these guys are trying to do, is setting themselves up for life, because they believe that, I don't know what they believe. None of them seem to be, putting the country in front of themselves. They're putting themselves in front of the country and think that they have to be in charge. I don't know. It's one of those things, right? So let's see. I personally, I don't think that he will manage to completely wreck the U.S. Semi-democratic system, but I think he's going to do another 4 years of damage, and I'm just hoping that it survives these coming 4 years. I mean, but that's me being biased here. Another question from Rohit here from LinkedIn. Let's see, Rohit. Do you have any thoughts on all the areas Elon would jump into now with all the political support? Well, the thing is, Elon already has a lot of political support. Elon is basically running the space program, right? And I think Elon Musk, this is my personal opinion, I think Elon Musk has placed a big bet on this election, huge bet, because he knows that now he'll be given, like carte blanche. All these tech bros are now going to probably be given, I don't know what they'll be given, all the control and money they'll ever need, which is kind of a scary thing, because we were just trying to claw back our integrity, and we were trying to sort of stop these tech bros, huge companies, of actually owning everything and controlling everything. But I'm afraid that now that with this, again, I'm just speculating now, it's complete speculation. I just think that now they'll be given a free leash to do more or less what they want. And Elon, of course, will be getting, probably will be getting tons of support when it comes to all of the space programs and all of the other companies. I think that I don't think we see how much of the US space program that Elon Musk actually has today, but we'll see what happens. It's and then with X, of course, I think Elon Musk's purchase of X, I think a lot of things have sort of led up to this. I think that Elon Musk's purchase of X is a big factor as well when it comes to this, because that sort of, if you own a platform, it's his personal platform where like millions and millions of people, right, are listening to what you say all the time. Of course, that has a huge influx on what's going on. The one thing, this isn't happened, yesterday or last night. This has been a long time building back. I read that it was actually Ronald Reagan. Before Ronald Reagan, there was by law, public service journalism, public service news channels, where they had to report objectively about news, fact-based, objective news. And that was actually taken away by Ronald Reagan. So that was actually the first sort of step towards very subjective news sources, where people today, I heard another expression the other week called news deserts, where the only thing people hear is one single news source, which is like ultra biased in one of whichever way they swing, right? And that's the only thing people hear. And if that's the only thing you hear day after day after day, whichever message it is, in the end you start believing it. So that's what I think. Again, personally, I think it is super, super important with a strong public service that has a core mission, core purpose to report fact-based, objective news. And I know that a lot of journalists, there are a lot of news sources out there that are actually struggling and trying to, adhere to a more nuanced way of reporting the news. But even in Sweden, even the morning papers. I mean, the thing is, we're falling. I'm not saying we're falling into the trap, but we're making the mistake of constantly doing the same, because if they say something bad which is in that direction, and this is what we did in Sweden. I mean, this is what we did in Sweden back in 2010 and 2014, when we thought we could, not reason, but when we were sort of trying to. I'm saying we because yes, of course, I didn't agree with the Swedish Democrats either. So I'm saying we. And my camera stopped. Why did it do that? That's interesting. Oh, I started again. Look at that. Because if they say, you have to go this way, then don't know why it's doing that. Then the solution to that isn't to do the opposite, because usually people aren't sort of on either side. People are kind of usually in the middle. I mean, we're usually kind of middle-ish, right? Very few people are in every single opinion ultra left or ultra right or ultra wherever they are. We're kind of in the middle. But if politicians say, I'm over here on the right, if you're not with me, then you're against me. And then all of the other politicians say, well, then we'll be over here on the left. And if you aren't with us, you aren't with, if you don't believe in this, then you aren't with us. And then we're like stuck in the middle going, hey, guys and girls, this ain't fair because I'm kind of in the middle. Who am I supposed to vote for? And then we kind of have to tilt over to one or the others, or we don't even vote, which is even worse, because that means, because that what happens then is that the only ones that do vote are the ones that vote for the ultra, wing parties, left or right, which, doesn't really benefit anyone, because we're stuck in the middle, which is, a super, super interesting thing. And we've seen this happening now with both the US election and the Swedish election. We've seen exactly the same thing happening, where we've had parties, screaming, oh, far right, far right, far right. And then everybody else goes, oh, no, far left, far left, far left. And then I'm stuck in the middle going, yeah, but I don't know who to vote for, because nobody really represents what I feel. So either I don't vote, or I have to choose, the lesser evil. And that leads to all of these crazy big pendulum swings in opinions. So it's just such an interesting phenomenon of how we, how people are. And then of course, nothing wins an election as being able to say that there's a good old crisis, right? I mean, as long as there's a crisis, you can win votes. It's because if it's a crisis, you can blame somebody. The economy is going down, the inflation is going up. Let's pick somebody to blame. It's Biden's fault. In the US case, then it's Biden's fault. It's the immigrants' fault. It's somebody else's fault. And then you can blame anybody else for whatever's going on, even factors that nobody could control. I mean, they've even been blaming hurricanes and weather on each other. It's like, it's their fault. It's raining. It's like, where did that come from? But as long as you can blame someone else for what you feel is unfair and not a good thing, then you can win votes, and then the whole sort of the whole, nothing wins votes as well as a good old crisis. So if you don't have a crisis, you win one. I mean, today, people in the US actually believe that the economy is in shreds and the economy is terrible, and they've never had such a bad economy as they have today, which is completely untrue, of course, because they have a very, very strong economy, and it's even, inflation's going down, and it's kind of the same or going up as it was before. But in the public ear and eye, and especially in what I've talked about, these news deserts where people are hearing one single very, very subjective news source, the only thing they hear is the economy is terrible, it's going downhill, we're in a crisis, it's immigrants' fault, Biden's fault, Democrats' fault, so vote for us and we'll fix it. I mean, that's what people hear. So what do you vote for? I mean, so that's, again, it's just a mechanism. And I'm not, I'm trying to take like an outside view of this and just look at it as in a non-biased way to understand sort of why do things happen as they do. And I've seen in Sweden, I've seen the Swedish Democrats come from where they came from back in in the 90s up to where they are today, where they're the second biggest party. And I've seen exactly the same mechanisms where they've been using this very sort of strong crisis kind of rhetorics to scare people into voting for them, because of course they're the only ones that can fix it because there's something wrong, right? So it's a method. It works. The whole sort of populist create a crisis and ride the crisis for all it's worth. It works. I mean, it's proven. It's proven in Sweden. It's proven in now in the US as well. So nothing more to say about that. Anybody else want to jump online with comments? I'm taking comments to and also inviting people live to the studio. If you want to come online in the studio, join me on YouTube or LinkedIn, and I can send you the link. Otherwise, feel free to ask me any comments, any questions, comment as well as we go along. And we'll do this Innovation Fika, by the way, my coffee break chat every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. I used to do it at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoons, but I'm changing it to 9 a.m. in the mornings so we can have a nice cup of coffee and a chat with each other about current events, innovation, new ideas. And I mean, now a new idea has just sort of happened, right? We have a changing of the guard in the US, right? With a new president coming in and a new party, Trump moving into the White House again, second time around. And we'll see what that does to the world order. If anyone wants to send me any kind of comment on what you think that will do to the world order, feel free to just pop a comment in the chats, because I think it will affect a lot. I think there'll be continue building on the America first and make America a great thing again, and the whole isolationist thing will be going on. I think. It's interesting to see what that will do to Europe. I mean, now that Sweden suddenly, I mean, we're in NATO now, right? So we're kind of part of the whole thing anyway. And we'll see what happens with NATO as well, because one of the biggest Trump's biggest complaints about NATO, and listen to this one, where I actually agree with Donald Trump. Oh, who would have known that? I actually agree with him on some things as well, because he's been complaining about that. Why should we keep running NATO when nobody else is pulling their weight? Because if we've all agreed that we should be paying 2.5% of our to carry our costs, then people should be paying, the country should be paying 2.5%, which of course they haven't been. I mean, they only and the US has been carrying the biggest, taking the brunt of that cost. So yeah, why not? I mean, if you're going to be part of a club, you have to pay for the membership kind of thing, 2.5% of your own. I don't know what it's connected. But now we're in NATO. So now we are in NATO, which of course is interesting because we'll see what happens. I mean, he's even been saying that they want to pull out of NATO, which is interesting because that's what they kind of are NATO. And I mean, it's not really. As a geopolitical thing, I don't think, and this is me thinking again and just speculating, I don't think it's a realistic scenario because they are so invested in so many countries with so many bases, with so many people. On the other hand, the way they pulled out of Afghanistan, just sort of packed up and left, and that was actually Biden. That wasn't Trump. That was just a proof of how quickly things can change once they decide to change it. So you don't know, it's we'll see. But fact is, we've woken up to a new world order in the way of having a change of parties in the US. The Republican Party has won. Donald Trump will be president again, and we'll see where that leads. And trying not to paint a too black a picture. There, I mean, there are a lot of people in the world that are trying to do good things, and we'll see where we end up this time. I mean, last time he broke some things. I think the biggest thing though is, and it's not only his fault, it's a long time happening. I think the biggest problem we have is the dialogue and the whole sort of discussion. Well, it's not much of a discussion, is it? Because people are just trash talking each other and saying that, I stand for this, and if you don't agree with me, then you hate me, so then I hate you, and then it's not the fight's on kind of thing. And morning, Petter. Thanks for adding that comment from Petter here on LinkedIn. Good morning, and good summary about the election, as you say, to be continued. Thanks, Petter. I appreciate that. Well, you know what? We'll see. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't think everybody's like sort of anticipating what's going to happen coming up now. But with that, I will say, let's all, everybody, not everyone for himself or herself. This is a time to come together. This is really a time to come together and work together for a better world. I'm doing everything I can. I'm happy to join forces with anybody that wants to make the world a better place. And by the way, November 22nd, if you're listening to this, if you're in Sweden and you are available on November 22nd, come to our event. It's an afternoon event. It's between 1:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. in the afternoon, downtown Stockholm. EWB, Entrepreneurs Without Borders, one of the organizations that I work with that is trying to make the world a better place. And this year's focus theme is female-founded impact startups. So we are focusing on helping female-founded impact startups change the world. So if you are in Stockholm, come join that event. It's Friday afternoon. It will end with after work as well, where we can hang out downtown. And if you're not in Stockholm, then go to ewb.world and support the organization in any way. If you are a female founder, if you want to become a female founder, if you want to work with impact startups, then please join that organization as well. So then we can together help, hopefully, change the world to a better place. And with that, I will say thank you for this morning's 30-minute Innovation Fika. It is a 30-minute coffee break with me, Donny, here live from Stockholm. Next week, I will be in Mexico, and the week after, I'll be in Brazil. So hopefully try to do some kind of broadcasting from wherever I'm traveling. So next week, I'll try and do this from Mexico as well, sometime during the Wednesday. With that, I will see you online next week, Wednesday sometime. I'll post again in all channels when it's coming. And if nothing else, tomorrow is Thursday. So tomorrow, Thursday, make sure to join my Super Connector thread on LinkedIn, when we help each other get what we need. So you post what you need in the thread, and then you help people get what they need by what they've posted about. And then you share that post to the whole world. See, that's Super Connector Thursday on Link tomorrow. Anyway, Rohit and Petter and everybody else online, thanks for joining me, and I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week. So until then, and take care, everyone. Bye for now.